Boom. Okay. All right. So let's start. Good morning. It depends on where you are, though. So right now it's 8:26 in the morning in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is probably around 10. I mean 5 p.m. in Rwanda. And then I was like, so it's my birthday. This is the right time to just come over here and record a quick message to just send it to everyone. You know what I mean? So, first of all, I'm turning 30. Like, I'm just like, I remember when I was a very young kid, we used to see people that are 30 and they're like, you're old. And I wonder if this is how my nephews are going to be seeing me like, we have one old uncle. But I'm just excited. I'm just excited. And I was telling my wife that the life I have today is probably everything that I used to pray for when I was a young kid. But the difference is you still keep dreaming. You still keep dreaming. But I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like, oh God, I want to go to America. Oh God, I want to study and I want to have like a degree. And here I am. And when I think about it though, but I'm like, the reason I was able, or the reason like I'm able to realize that the prayers that I used to have as a kid were answered, it's because there are so many times where I didn't trust God's timing, where I was like, okay, God, I want to buy a car. Like, I want to buy a car. And then, like, I just buy a very wrong one. And I'm like, shit, why is this not working for me? But then I'm like, if you think about it, it's because like God wants you to have a nice car because He's had your prayers. He had your prayers, but He wants you to have a very nice one. But because you're not trusting that God's timing is the right timing, and you're just like forcing to make sure that everything you're praying for comes in the morning, you just end up buying the wrong car. But if you really trusted God's timing, you would end up having a nice car. I'm like, God, I want to have a nice family. And you just like don't trust God's timing and then you do it your own way and it ends up going wrong. That is like pretty much my lesson for God's timing. Is like if you really trust God and you trust Him that He's gonna do it because He has had you and He has love for you beyond what you have for yourself, it will be like really great, to just trust God and know that God is gonna do it. And the other thing is that when I think about it, I'm like, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed in a way that sometimes I don't really like recognize it or even say it a lot, but I'm really like blessed in my life. Everything that I have achieved in life has come in ways that I didn't prepare or in ways that I didn't like. I know I've worked hard in most ways to like be like go through school, like go through like heartbreaking times, go through like work and stuff, but then I'm able to think about it. I'm like, okay, you are able to function when life changes. You really don't do much in terms of like changing your life. Like it's just God's way of making sure that I'm well positioned, especially like when I think about how I got to school to Pepperdine, when I think about how I moved to the US, when I think about how I met Tromaya, when I think about how I started working at Airtel, when I think about all those moments, I'm like, when I get in the moment, I'm able to really give my best. But sometimes those moments come to me surprisingly. It's not like, oh, I was looking out for this. It's more like, oh, God knows what's really best for me, and then it just happens. And and the other thing is also like I trust God so much that even when I'm going through something, I know that it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Especially like I remember like in 2022, 2023, like when I was going at Pepperdine, I called John Michelle. I'm like, my guy, I'm dropping out of school because I can't be able to pay. And I'm sure it was like, no, be in school and just like find a way, you will find a way. I'm like, I can't find a way. And first semester, I was able to pay. Second semester, I was able to go through it till I graduated. I'm like, really, like, even like there is a time where, to be honest, school was supposed to be Monday and it's Thursday, and I have no answer. I have nothing. And then Friday, Saturday, I receive an email or someone reaches out to me and they're like, oh, Mecca, we want to help you. And then, like, I'm like, this is God. Like, it's not like I worked so hard to really, get those blessings come. But it's also like whenever they come, I know it's from God and I know that I have to give my best to really, like, show God that I'm very grateful. And that is pretty much like what I feel about like God's timing and trusting that God is going to show up for you. And so I'm turning 30, like it's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year. Not crazy like in a bad way, but it's been a crazy year in like a very, very positive, in a positive way. So 2024, a quick recap of 2024, Uh, so 2023, this around November time, early November, or probably by after Halloween. That's when I matched Ramaya online. That's when we started talking, and then November, like we became official. I went to Rwanda. So that is 2023. I hope you probably know much about 2023. I'm not going to talk about 2023, but 2024, after I come back from Rwanda, me and Ramaya were talking. We're like, hey, like we're doing all these things together. We're doing all this, like growing together, learning about each other. And we're deciding to move in together. And then when we were talking about moving in together, we kept like, we would not get a vision of an apartment that was going to be best for us. Like, we were like, oh, what apartment can we get? We started talking about it. But then when God gave us a vision, and then we were like, instead of getting an apartment, we are going to pay almost $8,000 to get an apartment. But if we really like go on a budget and we start like really saving a lot, we can be able to afford the house. So we started really saving for that. We started saving for a house. We were like, okay, we started looking for a house. We had a very like, we had a small dream at the beginning. We were like, oh, we can just get a townhome. It's gonna be good, 2 bedrooms. And then when we started looking for a house, we kept getting these visions like, why not a house? Why not like a bigger house? Why not like, Then we're like, oh, let's see the neighborhood that are kind of like, mid, like not too expensive and stuff. And then, oh God, man, God is amazing. And then when we were through that process, like we saw some houses, that we really liked. And then we are like, oh, we should get this one. We should get this one. We even put in some like an offer on some of the houses, and we got denied. So we got denied. And then the compound where we live now, there was a house actually next door. We even see our neighbors today who bought the house. So the house next door that we visited, and we fell in love with the house. We fell in love with the house. We were like, this is the house we want. This is the house we're going to get. We were excited. We gave an offer of what they were asking. We're like, let's give them what they're asking. Let's give them what they're asking. Let's like not make it hard for them. We were like very, very excited. And then we waited, because you have to wait for 2 days. We waited for 2 days. They turned us down. And I remember like when I was in Premier that time, and like we probably God doesn't want us to get a house, like doubting mind. We're like, probably God doesn't want us to get a house, so maybe let's just go back to apartments. And then I was like, do we really have to get an apartment? I'm like, let's give you one. It reached to the point I was just like going on Zillow to just look for anything. And I was like, yo, babe, let's just get this. Let's just get it. I was tired because we were going out with our guy who was helping us. Shout out to Hector. He was an amazing guy. He was helping us like look for the house. And then it reached to the point I was like, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm like really, really tired, and I'm not ready to go out again to look for the house. I'm like really, really tired. And then one time we're just chilling, and we see a house almost like really. I'll tell you the truth. It's like next door. Like we see another house that pop up. And then it's more like the new stuff. It's remodeled. The showers are good, better than the other. The floor is better than the one we were looking for. And then, but we don't get excited because we were turned down like 3 times before. Then we were like, mm-mm, let's not get too excited. Let's not get too excited. And we're just like, okay. So we sent in an offer to that other house, and then we're like, okay. Um, we wait. So as we were waiting, and then we got the offer accepted. And I remember like thinking about the vision we had when we started, like when we started looking for the house, and the house that God ended up giving us, it's totally different. I remember the houses that I liked when we started looking for the house were just like to the limitation of the dream that I had by that time. But then when I look at the house we have today, I'm like, God really wanted us to really like just get the best, just get the best. Because whenever you have kids, or at some point if Tona decides to come to live with us, like at least we will have a house that we don't need to move out of because we're growing as a family. So we're like, yeah, this is just God, this is God. And we just learned to accept. And by accepting, I mean we learned to accept God's timing. And also we learned to accept that God really can give us beyond what we think we deserve, which was the biggest lesson for me in in 2024. So we move in together, then we're like, okay, we don't want to leave, like, we don't want to go into like, let's just live together and then decide to get married at some point in the future. And why not do it like at the same time, and then just like, you know we make big moves for 2024. And we really planned our wedding in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, we planned our wedding in less than 2 weeks. But because we have a very spatial, and we have a I would say we have really great people around us. We have great people around us. Her friends were like, "Oh, we're gonna do your decoration for the wedding." Her parents were like, "Oh, we're gonna cover the food." And then for us, it was more about like, okay, let's do the logistics of this. How do we plan it? And it's not me planning the whole thing, though. I'll just be lying if I say I was like, I probably did like 20%, to be honest, or 15%, because Ramaya is a great planner. I like just like sitting back and just see her do her plans, and then I'll be like, how can I help you? How can I support? And then sometimes she's like, yeah, I want you to do this, but it's already planned. So like when I come in, it's just like, okay, the plan is already there. Let's just go with the flow. So yeah, we get married. We've been married since July 6th, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing when I think about the the life we live, when I think about how we communicate, when I think about like when I think about the way we are as a couple, it's just like it's just amazing. It's just amazing because I was okay, I keep referring to this guy, but why not? I was talking to no, let me use the D. So I sent the D a text like a few days ago. I was like, "Yo, the D man, I love you. Thank you. Like I hope you know that I appreciate you. I was just randomly sending texts to my friends and just reminding them how much I love and appreciate them. And the D was like, before I say I love you too, I need to confirm with my wife. I was like, Gwen, you're stupid because I feel the same way. Because every time Like even when my friends are like, "Hey, yo, what's up? So we need to come visit." What I'm like, "Yeah, I need to first confirm with my wife." In Kinyarwanda, they call those men inganzwa. Inganzwa, it's basically like a man who's controlled by the woman. And then I was like, "Daddy, do you think we are inganzwa?" And then Daddy was like, "Mm-mm. As long as what did Daddy say? I need to see again." He said that as long as your wife is happy, you're happy too. If people say whatever they say, you're the one who's gonna be happy in the end. And to be honest, like I don't know, man. Like it's just been amazing to go through like life, because the past 2 years were not like really the best in terms of like my plans. I was just graduating out of school, and then I was just like finding ways to like, okay, what's next? Do I go back to Rwanda? How if I decide to stay in the US, how do I do it? I was going through all like like decision making, and it was overwhelming. So I didn't have my work permit at some point. I was just like, like it was really not the best. But then just like thinking about going through it, going through it with Ramaya has really like made it so easy for me, and I can say proudly that I think this was the best year of my life, because every moment that I have had in the past kind of prepared me for this moment. So I remember like after my divorce, actually my divorce got finalized this year, so that's also something. So, but then after I separated with my ex-wife, I remember I took 2 years off. Like I wasn't drinking, I wasn't like dating or anything. And then when I was ready to come back in the dating, how do I say, on the dating, in the dating world, I was like, okay, so how do we move? Like, what do I do? I tried all the dating apps. I tried all. America being very individualistic, it also reflects the dating life. It was very hard to connect with people. I'm like, to the point where I reached, I was like, just give me anyone, just give me anything, because I was so lonely. And then I'm like, there's so many times where I tried, like you meet someone, you're like, oh, this is the one, this is the one, and then when you think about it, you're like, God, am I settling? Like, is this the best that you can really give me? And then you just start like, instead of ignoring all the red flags, you actually like recognize them. You actually go out looking for them. You're like, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. I'm not going to tolerate. Let's have a conversation. Let's be honest. And then you're just like, okay, I'm out, I'm out, because I was like, okay, I'm going to trust God that at some point He's going to give me someone who is really going to match my energy, who's really going to have the same dreams, who's not the same dreams, identical dreams, but someone who's really going to see your future and appreciate your present, who's going to see the potential in you. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to give you time. And then, boom, I matched for Maya, and here we are, married. Our marriage certificate is hand somewhere there. Yeah. So it's been it's been an amazing 2024, and I'm just excited that this is the year I turned 30. So people have been telling me when you turn 30 your body will tell you, and I've started to feel some shit. I'm not gonna lie, I've started to feel some stuff like, my back sometimes I'm like, this is 30 kicking in. And then yeah, but then I'm just like excited for the future. And the thing that makes me very excited for the future, it's more like you can vividly, like, if you close your eyes, like, I get to see it. I get to see some things happening. I get to see some things happening. But the most exciting thing is more like the past few years, I really didn't have like a focus on saying, okay, so I'm gonna be better at this. I'm gonna be better at this one thing, and then like train myself, become better. Just like be push myself, become marketable and stuff like that. I was just juggling like BHD jobs, yeah, But here, like the 2025, this is me talking about 2025 though. So 2025, I'm just more excited about like focusing on one thing because I've kind of like realized that there is potential in the behavior health field. So I really want to become like I want to position myself to the point where I can become like a director or a director or like a manager beyond what I am now. Because now I'm a team manager, so I manage a team of supervisors. So I'm just like, okay, what certificates do I need? What do I need to join? What kind of associations do I need to join? Like stuff like that, so that at least 2025 I'll say, okay, right, I was able to move from this position that I'm on, and I'm able to get all these certifications that I need to become like, maybe a better pay or maybe a better position, something like that. So that's going to be my main focus for 2025. It's going to be also a year of consistency because there's so many things like I started and then I just stopped in the middle, including this podcast. But then like the more like I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, maybe it was just me trying to navigate a lot of things at the same time. But then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it 2025. I'm not going to start January 1st. So it's like a process of like, right now, I'm like designing, okay, this is what's easy to achieve in the next 3, 4 months. Start from that. Then after, like, assess myself and see how many certifications I've achieved, and then go on to the next, like that. But also, we're very excited that 2025 we're gonna visit Rwanda. Me and Ramayam, we're coming home. I'm coming home. Yeah, and then also making sure that I keep in touch with my daughter Tona, because it's not been like the really best, and I don't have anything to blame about this. It's just a moment, but I appreciate when I talk to her and she knows me, and also like I know I'm miles away from her, and it's not been like the greatest connection. But I'm also like, okay, at least with what I was given, I tried. But then I can do better. I can do better. I can do best as a parent, and that's like my main focus for 2025. And just praying a lot, rebuilding friendships. I posted something on Instagram the other day. I was like, no new friendships in 2025. We're going to revisit. We're going to build the ones we already have, and then eliminate some that don't really function, because some people are toxic. Yeah, some that don't really function. And then, going into 2026 with really strong connections, strong bonds. And that's like my main focus. Yeah, so that is pretty much about like 2025. And before like I come to the end of my podcast, um I just want to say thanks to a few people. If I don't mention your name, probably it's not because I don't remember you, but probably because I already said it in one way or the other. But first of all, I want to say thanks to my wife, because she's my rock, yo. She's really like, she's, I don't know. So I don't know how to say. Some things are just easy, like, just like, okay, God, like, you see it in me, like, just the best you can do is just wake up and just kiss her on the forehead, man, and just go on. Because like, you can't say it every time, but even if you say it every time, like sometimes you're not doing justice to I don't know. But then like in you, like, God, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky, and I'm very just like thankful for my wife and her friends too. Like, we have a very she I mean, from what I've connected through her is a bunch of friends that I really really appreciate. We have really great people around us. Yeah, the Albaneses, who are like amazing people that we can talk to. We can, you know like, we can trust that they will hold us accountable. Michaela, Brennan, Mahdi. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, and I'm just like Nikki. It's a lot of them. Oh my god! And then the Jacksons family. So the Jacksons family. So my wife and Romaya Jackson. The family is the Jacksons. So they're very organized people. I've never seen. They're like the version of my family in America because we do a lot as a family and we are close together. We're connected. So that family has really helped me not to feel lonely, and they have welcomed me. But imagine if your daughter like comes home with a divorced guy from Africa, just done with school, not with the best job, and then I love this guy, I'm ready to marry him. How would you react? I'll leave that for you to answer. But this family has welcomed me. The mom gave me a gift yesterday. Like it's just been amazing to feel like I'm welcomed somewhere. And Alex's family is in Arizona. They've been like they've been really my people here. They're my parents here, and Cindy and Roy, they're in California. I don't know, man. Sometimes like Cindy and Roy, like that family. So Cindy, we went to the same school with Cindy, but she was not like going to finish the program. She was more like auditing the degree, so she was just taking some classes to just learn some new stuff. And then I remember when I started talking to Cindy, we were just like classmates. But at some point, because she knew what I was going through, Cindy approached me and she was like, "So, Mecca, I know you're going to Rwanda. I wanted to help you for this trip." And then she helped me financially, but also like calling me, like reaching out, knowing how I'm doing. And then when I came back from Rwanda, I didn't have like a real place to be. So they took me to their house. They were trying to find a place for me to stay. And then my school, Pepperdine, canceled my scholarship. Like, they didn't cancel my scholarship. America has a way they do sales in a way, but it's very sad when it comes an institution that claims to be Christian. It's more like they give you a scholarship for 1 year. When you apply for another year, they don't give it to you, and then you're like, at least like no reason behind it because I was a 3.8 GPA student, and then but then Cindy was like, okay, so the money we were going to use to pay for your apartment, we can help you pay for your tuition. And then maybe we can find another way, like, let's find another way to work out this, and I was like, yeah, that was a good plan because it was really going to be hard for me to continue school if it wasn't for them. And I feel like God really placed them in my life at the right time, and I was able to find a way to move to Phoenix. That's how I moved to Phoenix, and Cindy's paid for my tuition that semester, and they kept helping me. They bought me my first car, like. But then even when I was in living in group home, like I would call Cindy like to just vent, and Roy, like on Thanksgiving, Christmas, on my birthday, they would be like, "Oh, let's FaceTime, let's talk to each other." Like like even in a distance, like including me, and that makes me feel really special. And I just want to say thanks to these people, man, because if you were like, I don't know, it's just people that God brought in my life to just like, make sure that this American life doesn't turn me into a drug addict or something. Anyways, okay, so and the final person that I want to say thanks to my mom, I'll say this in Kinyarwanda because ndagira nshimire mama wanjye kubera ko um, mama ni intwari, mama ni intwari cyane ku buryo sinzi uburyo nabivuga, ariko mama afite ukuntu, nubwo like afite ukuntu, sinzi ukuntu nabivuga, rimwe na rimwe nubwo hari igihe abambwira ati nyine mfite ubushobozi nta kibazo na kimwe wagira, ariko buriya nubwo ubushobozi rimwe na rimwe batari mu buryo bw'amafaranga cyangwa iki, ariko iyo mama anyumvise cyangwa iyo mubwiye akanyumva, iyo tuvuganye akanyumva akantega amatwi, afite ukuntu atuma numva ko byakemutse byakemutse, like nta gihe njya mvugana na mama ku bibazo byanjye ngo mveho numvise bidakemutse, like turabivugana nyine nkavaho rwose nkumva byakemutse, then ubwo ngubwo nanjye nkajya gushaka uburyo byakemutse bigakemuka, ariko iyo mvuganye na mama nkumva ntabwo byakemutse buriya hari ikintu kiba kitagenze, ariko buri gihe iyo mvuganye na mama ibibazo byanjye biba mirongo itandatu ku ijana y'ibibazo byanjye gukemuka biba byakemutse, biba byakemutse akazi. Ndibuka mu minsi ishize ndi gushaka akazi, narahangayitse ndahangayika, mama arambwira ati ariko se wowe uri guhangayikishwa n'iki ko akazi kawe kaje kari hafi? Ndavuga ariko si umubyeyi sha nta no kubeshya pe, nta n'igihe cyaciyemo mpita mbona akazi. So rero sinzi pe, sinzi gusa umubyeyi yaranyitangiye. Buriya hari ibintu abantu benshi batazi. There's so many things that people don't know. Like after my brother's birth, my mom had like she had a very bad infection. It was kind of like at the beginning they thought it was cancer. They removed half of her womb. So they removed the half of her womb, and they told her you're never gonna give birth again. She was like, "Mm-mm, you're not good. Ntago muri Imana, ntago mwambwira ko ntazongera kubyara." And then she kept trying. She kept trying for me. After 8 years, because between me and my brother there is 8 years different. So, like after 8 years, kabisa, my mom she got pregnant with me, and here I am. She took a risk for me because bari baramubwiye ko ntago wabyara. They told her you cannot give birth. You on a half womb. It can never happen. Like I always call myself a kid of miracles, you know, because I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say, but I'm just like grateful that I was able like to have a mother like that who I can call, who we can be. Let me tell you a fact. Kuva nagera muri Amerika sindamara iminsi ibiri navuganye na mama. Na ubwo kandi iyo minsi ibiri ntabwo ndi kwibuka ngo ni ryari. Ni urugero nyine tu ari, but then every single day niyo twavugana amasegonda abiri, but we have to do it. We have to do it every single day. We have to do it. And I want to say thanks to my friends for respecting my mom. You know, I want to say thanks to my friends, especially like I debate people, man. Like Jean Michel, Daddy, you know, like they always make sure, like they check on my mom, Jesh, like they're all like they respect my mom, and to me that is a sign of great friendship, man. Like, and I want to say thanks to you guys. I want to say thanks to the D, to Jean Michel. Speaking of Jean Michel, I was very sad 2024 I didn't get to go to my guy's wedding. But who knew I would turn 30 and I would not have more jokes about Jean Michel not being married. I mean being single. Even married, we weren't thinking. We were like, just get a girlfriend. But now see, Jean Michel is married. You know, like that is amazing, you know. That is amazing. Like I remember like Jean Michel was like, this year. I'm like, Jean Michel, you don't even have a wife. He was like, I didn't want to show you because I didn't want your Rugambo, I didn't want your jokes. So now see, I want to say thanks, man. I want to say thanks to people, my family. My family is really amazing. Turumye, that's what we call our family chat, which means we're one. So Turumye is very, very, very a very active group, by the way. We can talk, my guy. We can talk. Yeah. So my sister, Mama Shush, my sister used to be my finance guy. She used to be my advisor. She used, you know, and here we are. She still is, though, in one way or the other. She still is. But yeah, I want to say thanks to all of you, and thanks to all the birthday wishes that I received, and every person. To be honest, I really appreciate. I really appreciate, and at some point, you know, I just feel like, okay, let's just go on. I'm going to work. By the way, it's 9, so I have to be at work by 10. Mm. So I want to just say thank you, and hopefully we keep in touch this year, and hopefully we keep learning about life. And I keep this very raw, like I'm not editing anything. If you hear any noise or what, you know, be patient with me. I'm not a professional podcaster. But I'm just doing this for the love of the people. And if I said anything that annoy you, probably this message wasn't for you. But if I said anything that, you know, thank you very much. God bless you all.